My entitled coworker, let's call him Eric, walked into the HR meeting with a smirk that could curdle milk. He actually thought he had won. He thought his little fabricated story about me stealing company property and slacking off while working from home was going to be the end of my career. He sat there looking at the department head like he was the golden child finally claiming his throne. He looked at me and mouthed the words, "Bye, bye." He thought he was about to inherit my position, my salary, and my corner of the office. What Eric didn't know was that I had a folder on the table in front of me, a digital paper trail so thick it could choke a horse. I wasn't just defending myself. I was about to expose a year's worth of his incompetence, fraud, and harassment. He thought he was the hunter, but he was about to instantly regret ever mentioning my name. Watch how karma hit him harder than a freight train. Real quick, if you love seeing entitled people get exactly what they deserve, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you do not want to miss the update on this one. Now let's see how Eric ruined his own life. To understand why this moment was so satisfying, you have to understand the toxic ecosystem of our IT department. I 24 million have been grinding at this company for 3 years. I started at the help desk, took extra certifications, and clawed my way up to a senior systems admin role. My net worth and salary reflect the 80-hour weeks I put in during my early 20s. I take my job seriously. Then there's Eric. Eric is the definition of delusional. He was hired about 6 months ago, rumor has it, because his uncle plays golf with one of the VPs. He walked in acting like he owned the place, a total golden child complex, despite being 30 years old with half the technical skills of our interns. While the rest of us are drowning in tickets, managing server migrations, and putting out fires, Eric spends his day networking. And by networking, I mean wandering around the office with a coffee mug, bothering people who are actually working, and loudly bragging about his family's inheritance and how this job is just play money for him. He is completely useless. If you ask him to reset a password, he'll somehow manage to crash the print server. But the worst part isn't his incompetence, it's his entitlement. He views tasks as beneath him. I've been working from home WFH 2 days a week, a privilege I earned through high performance stats. Eric hates this. He constantly makes snide remarks about how I'm probably napping or playing video games, projecting his own laziness onto me. Last week, the tension reached a boiling point. I was at home, locked in, focusing on a critical infrastructure update. My colleague Mark, a saint of a human being and a hard worker, was in the office alongside Eric. Mark is the kind of guy who keeps his head down and gets the job done. Eric treats Mark like his personal butler. I didn't know it at the time, but Eric was looking for a reason to snap. He needed a scapegoat for his own lack of productivity, and he decided I was the perfect target. It was 10 o'clock a.m. on a Tuesday. My screen was full of code and ticket queues. A high priority request came in from the sales department. 4 specific docking stations needed to be configured and shipped to a remote sales team in Chicago by end of day. This was urgent. These guys were generating massive revenue, and we couldn't have them offline. Since I was remote, I physically couldn't pack the box. I pinged Mark on Teams. Hey Mark, sorry to bug you. Ticket number 9942 needs 4 docs shipped via Purelator ASAP. I've done the config remotely. Can you box them and slap a label on? I'll owe you lunch. Hey Mark, no worries. OP, I'm heading to the mailroom anyway. I got you. Mark is a professional. He got up, went to the supply closet, and started prepping the shipment at his desk. Here's where the entitled monster awoke. Eric and Mark sit face to face in the open plan office. Eric was, as usual, doing absolutely nothing. He watched Mark grab the boxes, the bubble wrap, and the tape, according to the HR recording I heard later. The conversation went exactly like this. Eric, oh, you're doing a Purelator run good. I have a return I need to send back to Amazon. Here. Eric literally tried to hand Mark a personal package, a pair of headphones he bought and didn't like. Mark politely, "Sorry, Eric, I can't ship personal stuff on the company account, and I'm really rushing to get these docs out for OP's ticket. You have a Purolator account, just log in and print your own label." Eric scoffing. "Seriously, you're already going there? Don't be petty. Just throw it in the pile. Mark, I can't. This is for the sales team. It's a priority ticket assigned to OP. I'm just helping him out because he's remote." That triggered him. The mention of my name was like lighting a fuse. Eric stood up, his face turning that specific shade of red that only delusional people get when they hear the word no. "Eric? Wait, you're doing OP's work. Why are you doing his job? He's at home sitting on his couch. If he wants something shipped, he should drive his ass in here and do it himself." Mark, "Eric, that makes no sense. He's working. He literally physically cannot put a box in the mail from his house. That's how a team works." Eric, "That's not a team. That's you being a servant. It's not fair. You'll do his work, but you won't help me with one tiny favor. I'm going to report this. This is favoritism and time theft." Mark, bless his heart, just put his noise-canceling headphones on and ignored him. I thought that was the end of it. But Eric didn't let it go. Instead of doing his work, he spent the next 4 hours crafting a masterpiece of fiction. He sent a high-importance email to our department head and HR. The subject line, urgent misconduct, theft of services, and AWOL employee. The next morning, I arrived at the office to find my badge didn't work. Security had to let me in. My stomach dropped. I walked to my desk, and my computer was locked out. The department head, Susan, came out of her office. She looked grim. "OP Mark, conference room. Now, Eric, you too." We filed in. Eric sat on the opposite side of the table, leaning back in his chair with a smug, self-satisfied grin. Susan, "This is a serious accusation. Eric claims that you, OP, have been dumping your workload on Mark so you can, quote, goof off at home, and that Mark is misappropriating shipping funds." My heart was hammering against my ribs, but my brain was icy cool. "Me, Susan, before we continue, is this a formal disciplinary hearing? Susan, depending on what you say, it could be the first step toward termination. Yes?" Eric interrupting. "He's stealing from the company. Susan, I watched Mark do his work for 20 minutes while OP wasn't even answering emails. It's instant karma, man." I reached into my bag and pulled out my laptop, which I kept offline for security testing. So I had local logs. Me, "I'd like to present my defense." I slid the first paper across the table. Me, "This is the ticket history for yesterday. As you can see, I closed 14 tickets. Eric closed 0. The shipping request was ticket number 9942. It's standard procedure, but here's the smoking gun." I turned my laptop around. "Me, Susan, now as you know, the IT room has security cameras because of the server equipment value. Since I'm a sysadmin, I have access to the footage history. I pulled the clip from yesterday at 10:15 a.m. Eric's face went pale. The smugness evaporated, replaced by the sheer terror of a man realizing he's about to be unalived corporately. I pressed play on the big screen. We watched Mark working diligently. We saw Eric approach him. We saw Eric holding his personal Amazon return box, clearly labeled with the Amazon logo. We saw the argument. We saw Eric storm off, sit at his desk. And then, this was the cherry on top, we watched Eric open TikTok on his phone. I scrubbed the video forward. Me, Susan, if you look at the timestamp, Eric sat on TikTok for 4 hours and 12 minutes. He didn't touch his keyboard once, except to write the email reporting us. Susan's eyes narrowed. She looked from the screen to Eric. Susan. "Eric, is that your personal Amazon package?" Eric stammering. "Well, I was just testing Mark's integrity. I wasn't really going to ship it. And the TikTok, I was doing market research. Susan, market research. You work in IT support. Eric, get out. Eric, what? Susan, pack your things. You're done. I will not have liars on my team who waste company time and harass high-performing employees. Eric stood up, his face purple. You can't fire me. My uncle, Susan, your uncle is the reason we didn't fire you last month for incompetence. But this is fraud. If you don't leave immediately, I'm calling security. It has been 2 weeks since Eric was escorted out of the building by security, which, yes, was extremely satisfying to watch. But because he is delusional, he didn't go quietly. 3 days after he was fired, our company received a letter from a lawyer threatening to sue for wrongful termination and emotional distress. He was demanding a settlement equal to 3 years of salary. I guess he thought if he used big legal words like family court or implied a lawsuit, we would get scared and pay him off. Susan called me into her office, laughing. She showed me the letter. It was poorly written, clearly not from a real law firm, and cited laws that don't even exist in our state. Our legal team responded with a single email. Attached was the video file of him watching TikTok for 4 hours, along with a counter calculation of the wages he stole from the company during his market research. They told him if he pursued this, they would countersue for the salary paid to him during his employment due to fraudulent misrepresentation of skills. We haven't heard a peep from his lawyer since. However, I did get a text from a friend who works at the local electronics store, think Best Buy type place. He sent me a picture. It was Eric, wearing a blue polo shirt, looking absolutely miserable, stocking shelves in the back. Apparently, his inheritance and his uncle's connections couldn't save him from the reality of the job market. Mark and I are doing great. Susan actually gave Mark a spot bonus for integrity and professionalism, which was basically an apology for having to deal with Eric. The office is quiet, productive, and Eric-free. Karma doesn't always happen instantly, but when it does, it's beautiful.